Okay. So, hello everybody. Welcome to the WiseKey webinar, Tokenizing the Kobe Bryant Autograph Black Mamba NFT package. So it is a pleasure for me to host today amazing speakers. Then they will debate around the different aspects of the NFT revolution, starting from how do you do it, what is an NFT, what are the legal repercussions of this industry, what is the financial repercussion, what are the technology repercussions. And at the same time, this webinar is taking place, the Wise.art NFT platform developed by WiseKey in cooperation with Ocean Protocol, Casper Lab, and Polygon is going to go live. So you will be able directly into the Wise.art platform, join this amazing NFT of historical value, as we are NFTing the watch and the Nike shoes of Kobe Bryant. So I have the pleasure to have today with me experts on this area that will give you their insights. So we have Tony Tal Barrell, watch and jewelry appraiser, valuator, investors and collector. We have Moish Peltz, Falcon reporter, and Beckman, a lawyer, legal expert. His colleague, Kenneth Falcon. We also have with us Ashok Rana Dive, which is the director and professional services of Casper Lab. And then we have Gregory Gadson, managing partner and chief technology officer of GDGC Enterprises, which are the owners of this watch. So as many of you has followed since the beginning of the year, WiseKey has been doing several high-end NFTs. We were the first company in the world doing the NFT of a Hublot watch that was owned by Jean-Claude Biver, one of the most prestigious NFT at that time, as we were the first company in the world combining a physical asset and creating a digital twin of the physical asset, and then transferred that digital twins to the Metaverse and creating a non-fungible token. So one of the problems of this industry with NFTs has been people faking NFTs, people providing fake objects to create a genuine NFT, people abusing on the intellectual property rights of the owner, and so on. So in order to provide some kind of seriousness to this industry, which is one of the fastest growing industry in the crypto world, there was a requirement to bring cybersecurity companies with a strong DNA and strong experience in providing cybersecurity, such as WiseKey. Just on watches, WiseKey has been certifying millions of watches in Switzerland against counterfeiting for the last 22 years. We have one of the best and faster track record in doing that. And obviously, buying a watch is something which is a privilege, but being able at the same time to obtain the NFT of the watch, and it is actually an investment. So if I buy a luxury watch, normally I have to invest a lot of money. If I can get the NFT directly from the brand and being able at that moment to own both, imagine the consequences of that investment to be multiplied several times. NFTs are also being done with celebrities. We did actually an NFT with Jacobs just a few months ago. There was a $1 million NFT. And those NFTs are combined with emotional relations that the watch has with the person that owned that watch, like in the case here with Kobe Bryant and many other celebrities that they are ambassador or watch companies. So this is what we are going to discuss today in details. The auction will start now and will last until the 28th. And we expect obviously to be a very successful one. Without more from our side, I would like to start maybe with Tony and ask Tony from the investor point of view, what is his views on how NFT has evolved for becoming such a big thing? There are people willing to pay millions of dollars for NFT. What is his views on the market progression and why investors and collectors are putting so much focus on this new technology? Tony, just the floor is yours.
Hi, thank you very much. Thank you for that lovely introduction. This particular watch, let's talk about this particular watch. It's an incredible watch. It's an incredible timepiece by a great company. Hublot has been around for over 40 years. It is one of the most dominant forces at the moment in the watch company and in the watch game. I'll be honest with you, all watches in the last 10 to 15 years have just kept on going up and up and up in value, especially when you have a watch in this watch, which is limited to only 3 worldwide. Something around that kind of watch, you can never find it. To hit the market right now, that is a very lucky buyer might be putting his hands on it. I'll be telling you something about the past watches that have hit the auction market and the circuit and the investments, where we had a Paul Newman Daytona that sold a little while ago for 17 million. Eric Clapton's watch sold around 2.5 or $3 million. And I believe this watch has got all the same value to hit those sort of numbers. It's a turbulent wristwatch, which is extremely complicated to manufacture. Takes around 18 to 20 months handmade to make a turbulent wristwatch. This particular watch is in rose gold. And as we know, Kobe Bryant himself was there throughout the process, putting his magical touch to it. A wristwatch like this would most probably be for any watch collector worldwide, any sports collector actually, and even in the memorabilia world. So it's going to be a very, very rare watch. Whoever gets to own this watch will be a very lucky person, he or she actually, for that matter. The watch market has not stopped going up. Prices have kept going up year on year, about 5 to 10%. Waiting list. When this watch first came out, I believe it was in 2013, you would be selected by the CEO to have the opportunity to purchase it. You cannot walk to a shop in Bell Harbor, let's assume, and say, hi, I'd like to order this watch. This would be only for a select 3 people worldwide. And personally, I don't think this watch will hit the market again anytime soon in the next 10 to 20 years. And the investment in a watch like this, it's, well, whoever it is, like I said earlier, very, very lucky. Yeah, that's a little bit of that.
Thank you, Tony. I really appreciate the insight on the value of not only the watch, but also the NFT potential of the watch. So maybe just to position this watch and the history and how you guys got involved into this. Gregory, you built a company around the NFT of luxury objects, and what was the background of your company, and where do you fit into this ecosystem that is now emerging, where you have companies like Sotheby's, Christie's, Phillips, all of them moving into using NFT as a way of selling a high-end object of value?
Absolutely. So just to answer the question, we as a company, of course, own the asset, and we're trying to figure out different mediums and ways to sell the watch. And of course, the traditional ways that came up were a Sotheby's, were a Christie's. And we realized that going through those traditional means meant that you were subject to listing fees, you were subject to the method at which they listed the items. There wasn't as much control as far as the disbursement of the item that we wanted. So what we wanted to do was kind of bring that security and bring that authentication to luxury assets. So we saw that there was an avenue to meld the two and create that parallel. And we thought, what way to better do it than to tokenize this whole package? So it began with the watch and the sneaker, of course. And then my partners and I discussed and thought, well, with the burgeoning market of NFTs and the skyrocketing market value of what a lot of these items were being paid for, we decided, well, why don't we incorporate everything and create an NFT that creates an emotional tie, adds value, and really brings the project together, and allow for luxury assets to be partnered and paired with NFTs in order to not only create value, but also to create security, authentication, verification, provenance, a proof of ownership, a proof of where this item has traveled and who owns it. And so that's how we began to create this business model in order to bring this trust to the market. Just as you spoke about when you were giving an introduction, there are a number of different platforms that specialize in DApp and purchasing of NFTs. And through the past months, we've seen that although they're secure, there have been some bad actors that have caused there to be a little bit of mistrust within the marketplace. And so throughout the process, through contacting, of course, your company, WiseKey, and working so intimately together to bring this project to the market, we've seen how important security, how important the information of provenance, and bringing all of this to the NFT space can not only legitimize it itself, but allow for GDGC to be the players and to be the first to tokenize luxury assets, the first to bring physical assets to the metaverse through NFTs and blockchain technology.
Thank you, Gregory. I think you raised a very important point, is that there are many platforms, and obviously because it's a hype around NFT, anyone is launching a platform. I remember when I was in the process of creating WiseKey, WiseKey was a 99 company. At that time was websites. Everybody was creating a website, and some of the website was basically nonsense, right? So only, obviously, after that, only the real ones and the serious one stay. So we're in that process now. It's a lot of NFT platforms, and they are not serious. There are others that have been hacked. There are others that have been doing inside trading. So this is obviously creating some bad reputations about NFT, which increments the real need of having serious players, and they have done serious cybersecurity projects in the past to enter into this arena. And this is the reason why WiseKey is behind this. I mean, we have many other areas of business, but for us to build a state-of-the-art, crème de la crème, as you say in French, NFT platform that can handle this kind of complexities of bringing a very valuable object from the real world into the metaverse was essential. And there's many other experience. Ashok, I mean, Casper Live is a major player. I mean, you are one of the leading blockchain players now in the world. You're also entering into NFT, as you are doing NFT of wine, expensive wine, liquors. What is your views on this industry, and how what is the essential technology assets that we need to have here in order to make this a mainstream industry?
Yeah, that's a great question. But first of all, Carlos, thanks for inviting me to this webinar, and congratulations on this launch of the platform, Wise.art, as well as the premium watch. It's amazing to see the progress that WiseKey has been making in the premium NFT space. And thank you for being. It's great to be being part of this illustrious panel. I could be considered a bit novice when it comes to brands and branded watches. I come to NFT from a technology perspective, and I'm really excited about the technology perspective of and then the market opportunity that NFTs are providing. Essentially, what NFTs are doing is bringing assets which were otherwise very difficult to trade or market, and had a lot of friction to the marketplace, and that's really the value. Previously, whatever you were doing, and you had no way to actually trade, those kind of assets are now coming on chain. I'll give a couple of examples that we are working on, as Carlos mentioned. We're working with Metacast, which is bringing premium whiskey barrels to the NFT marketplace. So we have a real world object that is secured in a distillery, and it's a 30-year, 35 years, 40 years old barrel of whiskey, and that is being converted into an NFT, and with the security of the blockchain, and now you're trading that asset. And imagine the earlier way of trading those. We had to go through a lot of unique kind of brokers who only had access to that information as to where the barrel is and what should be the value. Now you're opening the world to this market. And as Carlos said, it's really important to have KYC integrations. KYC AML integrations are really, really crucial. And particularly when you open trade barriers, and when you're looking at things which are regulated. Like alcohol is a regulated entity, right? So there are age, geographic restrictions. Having KYC AML is really, really important. So integrating that on chain and providing an auction platform on chain, and that's what, where Casper Lab comes in, as Carlos has been mentioning. We provide all three in one place. So we've given the NFT itself. We've also provided on-chain KYC, and we're also providing on-chain auction. And there are various types of auctions. You could do English auction if you want. If you can choose a Dutch auction if you want, and we are adding more to the types of auction. So completely agree. NFT is a space which is fast evolving. This is going to be the next big thing, and not only in the blockchain, and that's where the real focus of Casper Labs as an organization is. So we have created Casper Network, a public blockchain, but we are an enterprise company which is focused on helping enterprises do business using blockchain. And NFT forms a very core part of it because it converts, otherwise inaccessible assets into digital assets and makes them tradable, as I mentioned. The other use case that I quickly like to just refer to was marketplace of patents. So intellectual property, and Moish, you're a lawyer, you definitely relate to this quickly, is patents is, as a market, is a very opaque market, right? Very difficult to know the ownership, as Gregory was saying. Provenance is important. So ownership of and availability, those things were very, 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 very difficult. And IPV is an organization which is kind of putting the marketplace of patents, which has put the marketplace together, and now converting patents as NFTs. So you have provenance of who owns what patent on chain. You have KYCs integrated, and you can trade patents on chain. Now this is beautiful. Like this is really opening up market. And now you have like the patent offices are coming on chain, right? They are already talking to patent offices of countries. So when the new patents are coming in, they are available now on chain. So one is they cannot be tampered with, and you have guarantee as to who's the owner and what would be the transaction. You can license it, you can buy it. It is opening up a lot of different aspects, and I can talk about some more examples as we go around.
Very good, Ashok, guys. Very, very good insight. I think one of the big opportunities here is that everybody's talking about the metaverse, and the metaverse is empty now. The only thing you have in the metaverse is a few games and a few pieces of art, right? So the transfer between the physical world to the metaverse needs to be done with the technologies that we are demonstrated in this world first. So it's not only the value of the watch and the sneaker, by the way, because it's not only the watch, we are talking also on Nike shoes, right? And it is the fact of transferring all these physical objects to the metaverse. You are talking about intellectual property. Actually, we are working with international organizations to use NFT for transferring historical documents like treaties, like declarations, like documents that they are so important that they are maybe sitting on a box in a museum and nobody knows about them. So that increased visibility that the NFT brings to the object is essential. But obviously we are at the beginning. As I say, we are here on NFT like we were on the web 33 years ago. I mean, everybody's saying that this NFT revolution is actually the Internet 3, the 3.0 version of the Internet. So that means that the regulatory environment, the legal environment, the intellectual property environment needs to change and needs to be educated. For instance, if I do an NFT, do I need to talk to the brand because the brand might have the intellectual property on that object? All these questions, and maybe we can open that debate now with Moish and Kenneth, about the regulations and the legal aspect related to these NFT. Maybe Moish, you go first.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you, Carlos and Gregory, for involving us in this and having us on. And Ken, feel free to jump in as well. But my book, myself, I work with Ken. We're at the law firm of Falcon Rappaport and Berkman, and my background is intellectual property, and I started my career working on counterfeiting and just traditional IP issues, right? But in the Web 2.0 era, right? So dealing with marketplaces and things like that. And so for me, this NFT, Ken and I have both been doing crypto related projects since 2014, but I think the NFT aspect of it really changes it because it provides a knockout, obvious consumer application. Why every consumer, the next billion people that are going to use crypto are going to get into it because of NFTs, because they're going to see their favorite athletes, their favorite musicians, their favorite whatever it is, having an NFT application, and they want to be a part of it, not because it's crypto, but because they have some connection with that brand, with that athlete, with that celebrity, whatever it is. So from an IP aspect of how do we take this historical world of all these IP rights and transport them and transform them into what I think is going to be the next great like internet revolution. I agree with you, Carlos. Web 3.0. We're here. It's just how do we slot all of the legacy, historical, real world things into this tokenization of everything. So that's what I feel like my role is to understand, the old world and the new world and find a way to make them connect and to make the legacy IP world slot into what is a decentralized. It's really like I think there's also like a natural disconnect, right, of going from centralized IP offices and governmental entities and ownership of individual ownership of rights to a decentralized world. So there is a lot of work to be done. I think we are still in the early stages of figuring out what those rights and responsibilities and legal implications are. But that's what our role as attorneys is to help stress test that and think through the implications and work with people to build that future. So that's what I'm really excited about and working on.
Absolutely. And I will say also the fact that some brands, I mean, one of the problems we are facing with products, whatever is paintings or shoes or watches, is the counterfeiting part. I mean, counterfeiting is $1 trillion problem the world has, and counterfeiting money goes to mafias of the world, and they use that as their bank account, right? So you will see criminality, a connection between counterfeiting and all the social problems that you might think about it. And the reason is because it's so easy to counterfeit. I know, for instance, in the watch industry, that sometimes the counterfeited are as good as the original, to the point that if you go with a counterfeited watch to a shop of the brand, they might even repair for you, because they think it's the original. So, and this is the feedback I'm getting from CEOs of many of the famous brands. So having an NFT, which it's basically the digital certificate of the watch on the blockchain, so anyone can check real time in the same way that you will check whether you yes or not have a Bitcoin in your wallet. It's actually a breakthrough that solves that problem of the counterfeiting, right? And this is where we are telling the brand, guys, this is not only for you to show off your products on the metaverse, this is actually to provide to the owner a level of protection which is very high. I mean, imagine that you have a $100,000 Rolex watch, and somebody challenges you in a custom, you're crossing a custom, and so the custom guy would challenge you and say, is that a real one? And you won't have the papers, you will not have their certificate. Obviously, you're not going to carry that with you. And that happens every day, by the way. So that basically embarrasses you because you might have to justify yourself. What about if just by scanning my watch, I could go and show the NFT and say, yeah, this is actually a genuine, it's on the blockchain. So you see, so this basic case uses of this technology solves a very serious problem. But Kenneth, maybe, so how do you think it will? I mean, we know in Switzerland and we know in Europe that the legislation is still not there, to be honest. A lot of people are trying to guess what is right and wrong on this. So if you do, and this is something that we, even as a, we are a listed company on the NASDAQ. So when we talked to Gregory and he told me, let's do the NFT, I mean, we have to go through a lot of provenance certification. I mean, we made his life very difficult just to make sure that we got all the provenance, all the proofs, evidences that he was actually selling the genuine watch. So how you see that? How you see the legislation and the different countries moving into making that easier and more standard?
Yeah, so it's definitely one of the major challenges that we're facing right now is that the legislation, was written at a time when this technology simply did not exist. So it's critical now to have intermediaries and trusted players like WiseKey who can come in and certify an object, for instance, and say this is the genuine object, right? And start building trust as to at least objects sold through your marketplace, right? But from a regulatory and a legal perspective, there are numerous issues that are still really unaddressed by the current laws. But we are hopeful that there will be some progress made in this regard as the marketplace matures, and as more people see the ability of this to solve problems that governments have, like you said, with counterfeiting, for instance, right? To be able to truly verify authenticity and ownership, and to make the counterfeiting problem not necessarily go away, but to make it much easier to prove when someone can't prove on chain that they actually have the authentic object, is really a tremendous opportunity.
Yeah, and maybe Tony, more back into the economics of all this. So how do you appraise the value of an NFT? I mean, what makes a $3 million NFT versus a $100,000 NFT? What are the criteria as a curator on appraisal then that you will follow, you believe the industry should follow?
Me.
They follow you. Okay. Yeah, that's a good starting point. We know a place where to go. Yeah.
Personally, I watch like that. I can tell you from the other perspective, from an investment perspective, a watch collector, and I've been a watch collector since I can remember, from the beginning of days, and I've met some of the biggest collectors worldwide, and I can just talk about the watch itself. And the watch itself is an extremely, extremely rare watch. And with all the sureties that you're offering on the purchase of this watch, I think it's whoever's going to be buying it will be doing an incredibly good investment, long-term and short-term. This is a very rare watch. That's my field of expertise there.
So Carlos, maybe I can add just a couple of points to what Kenneth mentioned about counterfeit, right? Counterfeit is a real challenge, right? And it's not only for luxury goods, and that's where that I wanted to bring out some of the core work that Casper Labs is doing. For example, supply chain. We're working with supply chain for aero engines. Now, those engines are very crucial for safety and life of thousands of people, right? And it's really important to make sure that counterfeit parts don't get into. And the supply chains are very long. There are suppliers, sub-suppliers, and then sub-vendors. These are long supply chains, and tracking them and ensuring that the right parts are made available at right places whenever they are required is really important. And Casper Labs is working with one of the companies there to make that happen using and NFTs kind of build the backbone of these technology, right? The other important one is supply of vaccines and your blood, and these are again very critical. You need to know, because people's lives are dependent on these, right? You want to make sure that these are tracked, and their temperature data and their conditions in which the vaccines have passed through are recorded on chain. They are not tampered with. These still are critical for human safety, and we're working with a leading firm in the Middle East to build a supply chain for this. So counterfeit kind of touches many aspects of our lives, and really a big problem. And it's important to have like blockchain solutions.
And that's the big opportunity to move to the metaverse, as we said before, is that, as you know, WISeKey produces semiconductors. So we have microchips that we put inside drones, connected cars, servers, mobile phones. And those chips holds a digital identity. Then it's like a birth certificate of the object. So that means that every object is unique, and you can challenge anytime that identity by just reading with NFC, not TC, field communication. And then you extract the key, and they say, yeah, actually this object is genuine. And from there actually WISeKey has a patented process there. From there is where we thought last year, so okay, but if we do already that, what about if we just go one step farther and we create the NFT, because we already have the identity, right? So the big thing is that for a moment, this is what is attracting the attention because the watch name, the Kobe Bryant or the Madonna NFT. This is for the moment, we are on that celebrity impact model because the market is getting educated. But slowly this is going to be industrialized, means that everything will have to move to the metaverse because the inspection, the supply chain process is going to happen actually on the metaverse and not in the physical world, right? It's much cheaper to control the, a ship traveling in the ocean with containers is much cheaper and easier to control the NFT through satellite connections than go physically and inspect the boat, right? So that industry is moving towards the metaverse. That's why it's like such a great opportunity to have those platforms like WiseR, because those are the gates towards the metaverse. You have to go through that gate. And there are not going to be many gates, there are going to be several dominant gates, which are the ones that they develop better security, better authentication, better identity management, all the assets of companies like Casper Law, like WiseKey had. So that's why I think this is a foundational project that will be replicated many times. But maybe Gregory, maybe a bit about your company. You want to do after this, you want to do other NFTs. How do you identify them? What is your process to basically continue doing NFTs of celebrities and high-end value products?
So again, I like to give a lot of the credit to not just myself but my team as well. We're Diamante Zarba, Chris Calabrese. They're two individuals who are highly connected, have a large network, and through that we are able to produce relationships with owners of high luxury assets. This item we actually happen to own, but again, we have a connection to a lot of other different items, artwork, luxury timepieces, diamonds, jewelry, a lot of different type of luxury assets. And that's what our company is really trying to focus on. We understand, just as we've spoken about, forgery, counterfeiting, those being a loss of over $1 trillion within those markets. And I really don't think people understand how detrimental that is to building out this new generation of interacting, of the metaverse, the Internet 3.0. We want to build trust. We want to build that bridge. We want to be able to bring together these different communities so that we can create organic, safe systems for them to trade these assets. As Ashok spoke and said that it's not just luxury assets, but it can be used as far as supply chain. It can be used to identify where different things are within the logistics project. And so what our company wanted to focus on these products, because things like this, large scale items in this space can really jump forward and build that trust in a quick way. With your technology being as advanced as it is, we were so excited to be able to partner with WiseKey in order to bring that trust and that provenance to the system. It's interesting, you spoke about all the different avenues and all the different checks and markers that we had to do in order to do this, not just on the IP, as far as making sure you're not infringing on another artist's rights, make sure you're not infringing on the likeness of another individual, to again, providing the documentation of the fact that this item is what it is. You guys were very, very descriptive and very thorough as to providing dates, appraisal values, watch materials, the specs. And so all that throughout this process was very, very enlightening, and now has again created for us a business model that could be scaled over time in order to bring, as you said, these items to the market, whether it be luxury timepieces, art, rare artwork, gold, diamonds, and again, the applications are limitless because NFTs are limitless. A lot of times what happens is when you read about NFTs, you read about JPEGs, and you read about a lot of these newer projects that come out that are they have utility, they have a use case, and they're extremely valuable to building out this marketplace. But then again, in order to really pave the way and really bring this, as you said, on board, not just a handful of investors or collectors, but a whole industry, to bring in whole nations, to bring in whole archetypes onto the metaverse. It takes projects like this. It takes a company like WiseKey to partner with a company like GDC to put together and facilitate the auction of a Hublot watch and an item and bring it to the marketplace in a trusted method through your KYC, through the Wise Art platform, and through all the diligent efforts on everybody's party to authenticate the item and make sure that it is what it is. You know, I thought that your example of, again, just having the watch with you, and nobody carries the documentation to prove that the things that they have are what they are, but everybody has a smartphone. Everybody has access to these decentralized apps. It's as simple as you taking your phone, scanning it with their NFC technology, and then bringing up that information. So not only do you have the information as far as what the watch is, the fact that it's a 1 of 3, the fact that it's rose gold, it's 18 carats, the number of diamonds in it, the sapphire background, the encasing, the sneaker itself, the size of the sneaker, all those different things play into bringing that proof of what you have is what it is, and allowing that to be portable and allowing that to be the authentication of the item. And that goes across the board with every item, because as you and I and everybody who's forward thinking enough to be on this panel knows that that's where we're going, and that's where this market and the internet is shifting towards.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to complement that, technically speaking, all the provenance work and all the verification work that has been done in your case, but in any other NFT cases, those are embedded actually on the NFT itself. So that means that before even buying the NFT, you can go and check all the provenance and certification. That's where, as our security company, is important too, because we have digital signing technology that allows a PDF file, for instance, to be digitally signed by the person that has the signature. So you can also validate the person. You can conduct checks on the person. You can conduct checks on the signature. So the entire trial is being then embedded physically into the NFT. And then you have the smart contracts, right? Smart contracts is what you will do with that money. And this is important too, because you have to define that before you auction the NFT. For instance, in your case, it's a charity component. You are returning part of the money to charity, which I think is, to be honest, is the most accessible NFTs, the one that you combine the NFT with charity work. To the point that many charities, many philanthropic organizations, they are now considering real time to do NFTs as a way to finance themselves. But they have one problem. The problem is by their own legislation, by laws, they cannot accept unauthenticated sources of funding. So getting money from Bitcoin with an anonymous wallet is not an option for them, because they have to declare that money does not come from an authenticated source. It could be money laundering, right? So there's where the KYC aspect of the platform is so important as well. With others don't like to do it. For instance, OpenSea doesn't have a KYC because it's much easier to go without going through an KYC process. But obviously, you might reduce the number of people in the platform, but you increase the volume and the quality of the NFT. So that's the vision, right? We have a few questions that they are coming. Some of them, they are for me. One is the auction live? Auction will be live at 6 p.m. CET after the market hours, because we are listed in the Swiss Stock Exchange, so that the auction will start at 6 p.m., which is 9 a.m. in the United States. The revenues, how WiseKey makes money out of that, what revenue WiseKey gets. So we are like Amazon or like OpenSea. We just get a commission of every single thing trading into the platform, which are a very small percentage. But obviously that plays in volume. For bigger are going to be the NFTs, larger is going to be the amount of energy, more percentage get as a revenue. Are you selling the watch or the NFT of the watch? I think, Gregory, you're selling both, right?
Yes. So again, just to verify,
it's a package. It's a package.
It's a package. So the package includes the 1 of 3 Hublot watch. It includes the sneaker as well. So that's behind Carlos right now, the Nike Zoom 8, and it also includes an NFT that was created by our in-house creative director, Moshe Douglas. So again, he worked very diligently in order to create an NFT that really matched the elegance of the watch, really matched the intricacies of, again, the movement, the bezel, the snake within the workings of the watch to mold and to parallel the watch. So that's all going to be included in the bundle. And again, as Carlos said, a majority, some of the proceeds will go to Make-A-Wish Greater Los Angeles. We wanted to partner with a company that Kobe was very intimate with, and he has granted over 200 Make-A-Wish wishes, and we just really wanted to make sure that the philanthropic arm, as far as this project was met, and we were able to give back, not just to a charity, but a charity that Kobe Bryant was very involved with.
Exactly. So yeah. So the question also about the marketplace. So just to clarify, the marketplace is a WiseKey marketplace. Use a multi-chain environment. We are also going to release in a few weeks around CryptoCoin, and this is a collaborative work done with Casper Labs. So we're going to have something you call a Trust eCoin, which is a coin that will go through a KYC process also of the owner of the coin. It's like a bank, basically, before opening a bank account, in order to avoid unauthenticated sources of funding. The design of the platform is going to be totally improved. We are a cybersecurity company, so we are not very good in design, to be honest. But this is something that we will get designers to make the most sophisticated design on the world. We want to make sure that the engine itself, the Porsche is great, beautiful, but the engine is even better, right? So we were sure that the engine is top of the line, super secure, that provides the guarantees for running. One of the dangers on NFT, by the way, and maybe we can discuss that legally too, is that what about if it disappears? What about if I buy in your case, I have the watch and the sneaker and all that. At least I have something. But what about if it disappears? And this is a problem, a legal problem, actually, that cybersecurity companies handle that in the same way we handle data. If you entrust WiseKey to provide encryption and analysis of data, we have very stringent process to ensure that that data will never be hacked and will not disappear. I mean, somebody will steal your data. So the same thing we are doing with NFT, like cold storage. There's new technologies that are coming, which has both a technology and a legal protection to ensure that who buys the NFT is not going to pay the consequences of a company disappearing or the website going to get hacked, right? So this is I don't know if you guys have views on that, but this is a very important point to convince investors to enter into this.
Oh, absolutely. Security is very important, and not only for the premium market, but premium market is definitely important. Millions of dollars worth of NFTs, and you want to make sure that your technology is guaranteeing that it cannot be tampered with or hacked, and things cannot be moved. Ownership cannot be moved without consent of the owner, and proper protocols need to be followed. Absolutely.
Another area which I think raises intention. I used to work in the UN for 15 years, so I know the international organizations very well, and I know that they are always struggling to find funding to help causes like UNICEF, the kids, or WHO, the health, and others. And actually, NFT can be a very good way for them to raise funding. So you will in the following months see announcements of international organizations raising money through NFTs. We are getting just nearly to the closing. I don't want to stay longer. People are a bit tired of Zoom events. There are so many. Maybe a closing remark for each of you, and then we close the webinar. Tony, I'll let you go first. I think you'll have to go later. You are mute. You're mute. Sorry, you're mute. Yeah.
There's some background noise here. Another to attend to, but before I do leave you guys, I just about the watch again. As a collector and an investor of watches and appraiser of watches, I can tell you that this particular watch is probably the hottest watch out there in the market at the moment. It really is. It does speak to so many different kind of collectors. If you're talking about sports memorabilia kind of collectors, watch collectors, if you're talking about the rarity of it, there's 3 of them ever made in the world and ever will be in the world. And whoever will manage to put their hands on this kind of watch will do a great, great investment. But it's not only for investment purposes, excuse me, they'll get to enjoy it. Hublot, the way it sits around your wrist, the way it wraps around, having a rose gold watch like that around you. And listen, it's a conversation piece, it's an investment piece, and it's a really, all I can say about this watch is that it's incredible timepiece. And that's it. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. And plus you got the Nike sneaker and you have also the NFT. So it's a, it's a package. Yeah.
Great.
Okay. Yeah. Kenneth, some few words, closing remarks.
Sure. So, obviously this is, it's exciting to see the real world merge with the metaverse in this way, and to have a trusted platform that can provide the bridge to help, really solve some interesting and difficult legal problems using more advanced technology, while also supporting an entirely new user base and collector base in the emerging digital collectibles world. So really an exciting thing that you have going on here. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, Kenneth. Thank you for your participation. Manish, words?
Yeah, I'll just echo that and say, it's really exciting that you can try to solve these difficult, the regulatory KYC, AML issues, and then also the IP issues and verification and provenance and all that. So just really excited to see this as the start of, something much greater, and look forward to working on it with everyone.
Very good. Gregory, or yeah, go ahead, Gregory.
Yeah. Again, Carlos, thank you so much, and thank everybody for taking your time this morning to join us. Again, we're really, really, really excited about our collaboration, about the ability for us as entities to move forward and not just bring items to the market, but to revolutionize the space. And that is our main goal. Again, my team on my end, GDGC and WiseKey, I think together we can really, really work together in order to bring provenance, authentication, and verification to the NFT space. And we're hoping to do that through luxury assets first, and then of course, to scale it out across all markets. But again, we believe that bringing this offering to the space at this time is one of the more revolutionary ideas that has been implemented within the past few years. Again, the amount of work on the back end as far as just verifying all this information on the physical and then on the technological side is extremely advanced. And I think that us working together and creating that process, we can really, really bring this to different markets. And again, our company, we have a number of different offerings coming down the line. We're going to work together to bring some renderings that are based on this project and make that available to the marketplace as well. So I'm glad everybody who tuned in was able to hear about that. We have a number of different things, and we're so excited for this and to be partnered with such a respected cybersecurity company like WiseKey. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gregory. Thank you very much. Ashok, a few final words.
Yeah, absolutely. Gregory, Carlos, congratulations on this wonderful watch plus sneaker plus NFT package going on auction. Wish you great luck in the success of that, and I can already see, Gregory, many more coming down the pipeline. Secondly, really excited about our continuing partnership with WiseKey. Casper Labs and WiseKey are going to be game changers in the whole NFT marketplace. We are really looking forward for this continued partnerships to bring in more and more technology innovation to NFT market. And lastly, thank you so much. It was a great discussion. Really a pleasure to be a part of this esteemed panelists.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. It was a great event. WiseKey, and this is the way I built this company. We always like to push the envelope on technology. We always want to go to the next level of technology with the right partners like you guys. This NFT, actually, there are others coming in the future. We're actually planning a satellite NFT connection by the end of the year, because we invested in a satellite, Pico satellite company, IoT company, that can send a signal from the satellite and generate the NFT directly from the satellite. So that could be a model for disadvantaged areas of the world where they don't have internet, and the satellite itself will be the one sending the key. So we are always after innovative, disruptive technologies that can be added. As you know, WiseKey has 3 verticals: cybersecurity, blockchain, which everything related to NFT, but also AI, because we are one of the leading AI players in Europe. This is generating a lot of data. In the future, AI will generate NFTs. The AI itself will generate NFT. So this is only the beginning. We are only grasping the potential of this market, and we look forward to continue working with you. We are all pioneers. And I wish you, Gregory, a very successful NFT process and minting and auction. Hopefully we sell it. But even if we don't sell it, we will be history, right? Because this is a breakthrough, and we wish you all guys all the best. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the audience following us, and we will keep you informed during the next days about how things are progressing. And as you know, we are in Times Square already. This has been actually broadcast during the entire week in Times Square, so I'm sure there's a lot of attention to this. So thank you, everybody, for your time, and wish you all the best.
Thank you. Everybody, get on WiseArt, sign up, do your KYC, and if you're interested, get on, bid, and if you're not, browse the site, because this is the future of NFTs. And thank you so much, Carlos. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Gregory. It was a
Great.
pleasure today with you. All the best, guys.
Thanks a lot. Have a good one.